After repeatedly turning male leads gay while playing the second male lead in romance novels, I got punished by being demoted to a background character in a BL campus story. Determined to redeem myself, I threw myself into playing John Wilson, the forgettable nerd who exists solely as set dressing for the main couple's love story. Everything was going smoothly until someone pushed me into the swimming pool. Emerging gasping from the water, I shoved back my overgrown bangs only to find a crowd gathered poolside. Ryan, the campus bad boy in story's top, crouched at the edge staring at me with burning intensity. "Turns out you're actually hot," he said, eyes raking over my dripping face. Monday morning found me waking up as John in my modest bedroom. I automatically grabbed the thick-framed glasses from the nightstand. The bathroom mirror showed a scrawny teen whose features disappeared behind messy hair and oversized lenses, perfect camouflage for a background character. "Wait." My system stopped me as I headed out. "What?" I asked. "Switch to the long-sleeved uniform." "But it's summer. Exposed collarbones or wrists will incur penalties." "Fucking weirdo," I muttered, losing 10 precious minutes changing. Rushing toward the bus stop, I froze when two tall figures emerged from the mansion across the street. Even from behind, their golden retriever energy and black cat vibes screamed main character energy. My stomach dropped as I recognized Ryan and Evan from the novel. "I warned you to show my mother respect," Ryan growled, shoving Evan against the wrought iron gate. Evan adjusted his glasses calmly. "I respect her more than your fake chumminess with my father after 2 meetings. Ryan grabbed his collar. "You ungrateful little." They were so close their noses almost touched. Classic enemies to lovers tension. I pressed against the hedge, praying to escape unnoticed while mentally berating the system. "Why are they in my neighborhood? Why didn't you warn me?" Background characters get randomly assigned housing. "Want to trade places with the guy under the bridge?" A sharp, "Hey," cut through the morning quiet. I kept walking. "Hey." Long sleeves. Turning slowly, I found Ryan scowling at me while Evan straightened his uniform. The contrast between Ryan's blazing intensity and Evan's icy composure could power a nuclear reactor. "You go to Brighton Prep?" Ryan demanded. "Did you hear anything?" I adjusted my glasses. "Hear what?" Evan walked past without glancing my way. "Keep quiet about this." Ryan spat on the pavement as Evan left. Fucking rich kid attitude. His gaze snapped back to me. "This never happened. Got it?" I nodded frantically, nearly tripping over my own feet escaping. The bus ride passed in sweaty panic. Campus unfolded like a movie set, ivy-covered brick buildings, students laughing in golden sunlight. I melted into the scenery until third period chemistry, when Ryan strolled into class 20 minutes late. He froze upon seeing me, then smirked. "Well, if it isn't Pool Boy." The entire class turned. So much for staying invisible. "Stop showing off." Ryan's gaze landed on me as he strode over, grabbing my backpack strap to forcibly spin me around. "To prevent you from spreading rumors," he declared, "I'll be keeping an eye on you personally." I blinked rapidly, frustration welling up. Ryan marched me to the bus stop like a criminal escort. The only available seat became my prison when he shoved me into it, his gym bag immediately thudding onto my lap. "Hold this," he commanded, effortlessly gripping the overhead rail. Even annoyed, the teenager cut an impressive figure, his lean frame reminiscent of bamboo swaying yet unyielding in the jostling bus. The hem of his untucked polo shirt rode up, revealing a glimpse of toned abdomen that drew covert glances from every passenger. Murmurs buzzed around us. How come two high schoolers look so different? I tuned them out, focusing on my plan. Once at school, Ryan would realize I lacked any social capital to spread gossip. This humiliation would pass. As I stared out the window, his voice rumbled above me, "Aren't you boiling in that hoodie?" My overgrown bangs slid sideways when I looked up, granting sudden clarity to Ryan's sharp features. We both froze. "Fine," I mumbled, adjusting my thick-framed glasses. "Your back's drenched?" he accused. Says the human race walker who made me sprint after his gazelle legs. Before I could retort, my system pinged, requesting body adjustment from mainframe. What? Background characters shouldn't have visible scapulae. Breaks immersion. Ignoring the routine absurdity, I hunched against the seatback. Let sweat stains dry. The quiet kid persona served its purpose until school gates appeared. Morning heat hit like a furnace. Ryan's eyebrows shot up when we entered the same classroom. All eyes followed his entrance, letting me ghost to my corner desk. I'd barely opened my literature textbook when darkness descended, a cotton comet smothering my head. Gasps rippled through the room as I wrestled the fabric off. Ryan leaned against lockers, chin jerking toward the gym shirt in my hands. Change. The white cotton carried faint lavender detergent and athletic musk. Whispers detonated. John? Since when does Ryan notice him? Total study drone. Zero social skills. What's the appeal? Seriously? That mop top and Coke bottle glasses? Probably hiding a face only a mother could love. Fuck. Jealous? Why does he get to wear Ryan's clothes? Same. Wanna swap places? Ryan clearly had some understanding of my role in the classroom. His brows furrowed so tightly they could crush flies. My mind raced before reaching a conclusion. Publicly rejecting the male lead wasn't something that should happen to a background character like me. Thanks. I told Ryan before grabbing the clothes and heading to the restroom. The morning bell had already rung, leaving the bathroom empty. I freely changed by the sinks, unbuttoning my sweat-drenched dress shirt. My damp skin glistened under fluorescent lights as I pulled Ryan's white tee over my head. The sudden creak of a stall door froze me mid-change. I yanked the shirt down just as Evan emerged, frozen mid-step. His icy gaze traveled from the mirror to my disheveled reflection. Cigarette smoke still clinging to the air between us. System? I panicked internally. Was he secretly smoking? Is he planning to silence me? The student council president indulging in vices? This was dangerous knowledge. You forgot your glasses? The system reminded. I scrambled to put them on. Evan had already turned away, methodically washing his hands. I won't tell. I blurted. He gave a non-committal hum, tossing his paper towel into the bin with basketball precision before leaving. Crisis averted. My reflection showed messy hair and oversized clothes, ugly but comforting. Slinking back to class through the rear door, I relished the fading attention. Like a stage spotlight briefly illuminating an extra before darkness reclaimed me. Lunch found me hiding in cafeteria corner with my fish-fragrant pork. Evan sat surrounded by admirers across the room, while Ryan and his crew suddenly boxed me in with their trays. Eat, Ryan commanded, fingers mimicking binoculars at his eyes. I pushed up my glasses, channeling every rom-com cliché. Ryan, do you like me? The table fell silent. Somewhere, a plastic fork snapped. Clang. Several pairs of chopsticks clattered onto the cafeteria table. Ryan looked like he'd just swallowed a fly. What the hell are you talking about? I adopted my signature nerdy earnestness. You gave me your bus seat, lent me your shirt when mine got sweaty, and now you're insisting we eat lunch together. Isn't that obvious? But I don't swing that way, so you should really move on. The surrounding students turned shocked and pitying looks toward Ryan. The school's notorious tough guy getting schooled by some unremarkable nerd? Unthinkable. Under the weight of collective stares, Ryan's face turned beet red. After glaring daggers at me, he grabbed his tray and stormed off, his retreating back radiating humiliation. His posse scrambled after him, shooting me complicated glances that clearly said, "Damn, kid's got guts." I resumed eating, ignoring the lingering attention. In this story's universe, the spotlight only follows main characters. Without them present, this curiosity would fade faster than cafeteria jello. What's more important, morals or mission completion? Mission. Exactly. Can't let him keep adding extra scenes. That's overtime pay territory. Among the lingering stares, one felt particularly intense. My eyes swept the cafeteria but found nothing unusual. During afternoon classes, Ryan spent the entire period shooting death glares across the classroom. I kept my nose buried in textbooks, ignoring him until he started fuming like a cartoon teapot. At break, the girl in front of me slammed new worksheets onto my desk. My pencil rolled off the edge. Sorry? She froze. No problem. As I bent to retrieve it, my glasses slipped down my nose. When I straightened up, she was still turned around. I pushed my frames up. Something else? Her face suddenly flushed crimson. And nothing. She whirled back frontward so fast her ponytail whipped the air. With no night study session, I headed straight home after school. After showering, I tossed Ryan's t-shirt into the wash, finished homework during the spin cycle, then grabbed keys for a convenience store run. Streetlights glowed through the fragrant night air as I entered the fluorescent bright store. My stomach dropped at the familiar broad shoulders by the register. Evan turned at the bell's jingle. Trap. I forced casualness. Fancy meeting you. He grunted acknowledgement, eyeing my microwave meal. Placing a cigarette pack on the counter. He gestured at my dinner. Add this. We exited into the honeyed twilight. I lagged behind until Evan jerked his chin toward the deserted playground. This way. The empty swings creaked in the breeze. I settled on one with my mapo tofu rice. While Evan leaned against a ping-pong table, cigarette glowing like a firefly in the gathering dark. Through the haze of night and swirling smoke, his expression remained indistinct. Yet I sensed an aura of lonely bewilderment. When your father starts a new family with a stranger, I guess it leaves you unmoored. The brooding pretty boy routine, surprisingly entertaining. Doesn't anyone cook at your place? Evan asked me. I nodded. My parents died in a car accident 2 years ago. I live alone now. My blunt response silenced whatever follow-up questions Evan had prepared. Managing financially? He tried after a beat. Trust fund dividends cover things. He stubbed out his cigarette as I finished the last bites of my takeout. Evan produced a hard candy from somewhere, crunching it between his molars with grating intensity. The sound made my skin crawl. Must you do that? I snapped. He paused mid-crunch just to smirk at me before resuming with deliberate loudness. I threw up my hands and turned to leave, but his fingers closed around my wrist like a manacle. Before I could react, his mouth crashed against mine. My eyes flew wide open. This again, across multiple worlds? Whenever I thought the plot was progressing normally, the male leads would inevitably snap. The aloof gentleman or cultured scholar would transform into a rutting beast, leaving me to abandon these deranged suitors and fake my death when they turned stalker. I'd literally just escaped my last world by dying mid-coitus with its unhinged protagonist. Evan's mint-tinged tongue invaded my mouth as his calloused hands scorched through my shirt. I twisted away, only for him to clamp me against the pool table, trailing wet kisses down my throat. That obsessive fervor I knew too well made my hair stand on end. Another one breaks. Initiate emergency extraction. I mentally screamed at the system. You'd permanently traumatize him that way? Me. I'm getting sexually assaulted here. Are you blind? After waited silence. Insufficient criteria for mission failure. Extraction unavailable. You motherf. My knee connected with Evan's shin. As he recoiled, I scrambled backward across the felt surface. Are you out of your mind? Evan leaned against the pool table, eyes glittering like a predator's in the low light. You followed me here knowing exactly how this would go, he drawled, that player smirk making me seethe. I only came because you bought me dinner, you walking HR violation. His chuckle made my stomach drop. Speaking of violations, the innuendo hung between us. My cheeks burned as I channeled icy disdain. Seems you're the one whose touch starved here. Evan leaned back casually. Not at all. I had a great meal. I rolled my eyes and stormed off. Soon. Uneven footsteps trailed behind me, one slightly heavier than the other. Just as I started feeling smug, the lunatic behind me drawled. Weird, it feels like that wasn't our first kiss. I sped up angrily, leaving him in the dust. Passing Evan's house. Someone barked from the yard. John. I turned to see Ryan stomping out like an angry bull. Talk about bad luck. Ryan closed the distance, ready for confrontation. His gaze suddenly locked on my lips. Why's your mouth swollen? Allergic? The innocence in his question almost made me pity him. At least the mission was still active. Had spicy dinner? I lied. A soft chuckle came from behind. I didn't bother turning. Ryan's face darkened when he spotted Evan approaching. You were with him? Ryan demanded. I shrugged. Some idiots jumped him. I played hero. Better get him inside before he limps forever. I walked off ignoring Ryan's confusion, feeling his burning stare for 2 blocks. Lying in bed that night, I finally said to the system, something's wrong. Explain. It responded after a beat. Why hasn't the mission failed yet? Glitch? Possible. Reporting to HQ. Or, maybe I'm not actually a background character. Static screeched in my skull before abruptly cutting off. Emergency summons from mainframe. Be back later. The coward vanished. Bingo. Meanwhile, Crestwood High's forum exploded. A midday post titled, "Sworn Enemies with the Arrogant Jerk Who Tried to Break Up My OTP," trended, ranting about some John deluding himself that Ryan liked him and publicly rejecting him, making Ryan storm off. Evan had glared daggers the whole time. Fans raged frowny face, how dare that basic loser. Thought he was just a shy nerd. Not a narcissist. Ryan belongs to Evan. Raven forever. No one noticed OP's afternoon update. Wait, is that glasses guy low-key hot? Need recon. Next morning? Necks craned as I walked to school. Ryan and Evan trailed behind like opposing magnets, Ryan slouching with practiced cool. Evan's uniform pristine and expression icy. 2 peas in a pretentious pod. I averted my gaze and continued toward the classroom. Upon entering, I casually placed the paper bag containing t-shirts on Ryan's desk. Today was swim class, and I'd originally planned to skip. The PE monitor had said, even if you don't get in the water, you should at least observe. Otherwise, I can't explain it to the teacher. Not wanting to cause trouble, I'd agreed. The school's indoor aquatic center boasted an Olympic-sized pool used for both classes and small competitions. Upon arrival, I realized 2 classes were combined, Evan's class included. Still in uniform, I sat poolside staring at the blue water while others emerged from locker rooms in swimwear. A sudden surge of excited whispers made me turn as Ryan approached. He wore black swim trunks reaching past his knees. His youthful physique on full display, long limbs, defined chest, sculpted abs. A veritable feast for the eyes. Drooling much? I instinctively raised my hand halfway to my mouth before catching myself. Ryan burst out laughing, shooting him an exasperated look. I watched him rub his nose sheepishly. Aren't you changing? He asked. Keep your distance, I warned. Unless you want everyone thinking you're actually into me. He paused before shrugging. Let them talk. My eyebrows shot up. Move. Evan's monotone cut through as he pushed past Ryan in full uniform, settling beside me without acknowledgement. Ryan immediately scowled. Why the hell aren't you changed? Evan wordlessly rolled up his left pant leg, revealing alarming purple bruising. Disabled? He stated flatly. Guilt twisted my gut, last night's kick had caused this. Shouldn't have been an asshole. Ryan sneered. True enough, Evan conceded. The coach's whistle sent Ryan shooting Evan a final glare before jogging to formation. 2 classes lined up in pairs for water drills. Ryan moved with natural grace, outpacing others effortlessly. Watching his strokes, I barely registered Evan's question. Can you swim? Yeah, I admitted, but I avoid it. Why? Water phobia. Can't even take baths. The half-joke fell flat as Evan studied me seriously. Dry land's not so bad, he finally said. Between Ryan's overt attention and now conversing with Evan, I'd become public enemy number 1. Damn. What's that nerd's secret? Both princes keep chasing him. If they're breaking up my OTP, at least pick someone hotter. My eyes up. He's stealing everyone's spotlight. Oblivious to the gossip, I headed toward post-class assembly. Later, I told Evan, weaving through the crowd, edging along the pool deck. I didn't notice the water lapping at my shoes until someone shoved me sideways. The world tilted a splash, then icy water flooding my nose. Panic paralyzed me as I sank, the surface light dimming to a distant glow. In a panic, fragmented memories suddenly flashed through my mind like lightning. A person who looked remarkably like me glided through coral reefs in full diving gear. Oxygen equipment malfunctioned. The figure struggled toward the surface before suffocating. In a frigid morgue, a sharply dressed man with an icy demeanor collapsed before my corpse, face ashen. On a cliffside, the same man clutched an urn as sunset faded, then leaped into the sea. I abruptly remembered, in my original life, I'd had a deeply loving boyfriend. We'd fallen for each other in high school, attended the same university, then bought a house together after graduation. Each morning began not with alarms but with his kisses. Like all couples, we fought. On the day I died, we'd had some explosive argument. I went diving to cool off, and never resurfaced. My limbs went still. My heart constricted as if squeezed by an invisible fist, aching violently. Tears dissolved into pool water. How could I have forgotten someone so precious? The instant I submerged, another figure plunged into the pool. Evan swam toward me despite his leg injury, hauling me to the surface. On the deck, I coughed violently while Evan patted my back. Frantic. I'm taking you to the infirmary. Shaking my head. I tried rising. Wet bangs clung to my face like seaweed, blinding me. I shoved the hair back and staggered upright. The crowd surrounding us fell deathly silent. Ryan, who jumped in moments too late, climbed out dripping wet. He froze while staring at me through the throng. Ignoring everyone, I stumbled toward the exit. The crowd parted like the Red Sea. I wandered home in a daze, stripped soaked clothes, and burrowed under blankets into heavy sleep. In dreams, I lay across a familiar garden swing with my head pillowed on someone's lap. Afternoon sunlight filtered through maple leaves, warming my skin. Intoxicating floral scents filled the air as I drowsed beneath an open book. A beloved voice murmured above me, "Let's visit that island you wanted after this project wraps up. I'll dive with you to see the coral reefs, promise." I hummed sleepily. He chuckled. "Too tired? Should I carry you to bed?" Pulling the book off my face, I protested, "I'm listening. You promised reef diving." Backlit by golden light, his features blurred into radiance. "Come closer," I whispered. He leaned down, lips meeting mine in a kiss that electrified my soul. Trembling, I gasped against his mouth, "Did you eat mints? Tastes like peppermint." I awoke flushed and breathless, sheets damp with sweat. Uncurtained windows revealed night skies. Staring at the ceiling, I answered the system's prompt. "Awake now? Feeling better?" "MHM. Evan followed you all the way home earlier." I shrugged casually. "Is that so?" After a moment's silence, I asked, "Why did I lose my memories?" The system stayed quiet for a long beat before answering. "During your first mission world, the male lead resembled your boyfriend, a lot. He treated you coldly. Watching him get together with the female lead broke you. Your soul got critically damaged. I had to emergency extract you to the mainframe for repairs and made an executive decision to seal part of your memories." I nodded. "Makes sense." Joking weakly, I added, "Guess there's limited slots for sane people per world after I went off the rails first." The system gave a hollow laugh. "Haha, true enough." Dragging myself to the shower, I emerged starving. The empty fridge stared back. Grabbing keys, I headed out while asking, "Does everyone become taskers after dying in the real world?" "Not necessarily," the system replied. "Different aptitudes. Some lose memories, get new appearances, become NPCs in minor worlds. Could be background extras or protagonists." I paused. "Really?" The gate creaked open as I stepped out. Under the street lamp across stood Evan. His wrinkled school uniform clung to him. Damp patches dried stiff. The disheveled look clashed with his usual put-together self. "Seeing me?" He staggered forward. I caught his arm instinctively. His fingers clamped around my wrist like manacles. "If you hadn't come out tonight," he rasped, "I'd have broken in." His eyes held swirling darkness, anguish, and desperate longing. Even he didn't understand pulling me in. Flustered, I looked away, twisting free. My hand automatically went to adjust glasses that weren't there. Lost in the pool. Evan chuckled hoarsely. "You're doomed. Whole school knows you're a looker now." I ignored the jab. "I'm fine. Go home." He studied me before stepping closer. Warm palms cradled my face as he leaned in. When his lips brushed close, I turned away. "Want another kick?" I said flatly. He froze, then released me with a strained laugh. "Good night. See you at school." Watching him limp away, his injured leg clearly worse. Something twisted in my chest. Just some pushy jerk I barely knew. So why? Next morning, I left early. The system sounded surprised. You could take a day off. No time to waste. However slim the chance. I needed to search. If he's here, we'll recognize each other. My boyfriend was exceptional, if not the protagonist. Definitely major supporting cast. Which reminds me, what's this book's character list again? I quickened my pace toward the bus stop, mind racing through possibilities. Someone called out to me halfway. "John." I turned around to see Ryan running up from behind. "You're here so early, I almost missed you," he said. I hummed in response, instinctively glancing past him. "What are you looking for?" he asked. "Nothing," I replied. "Let's go." The bus had plenty of empty seats. Ryan and I sat side by side. "You really scared me yesterday. Are you okay?" he asked. He'd always shown an unusual level of concern toward me. I turned to study him intently, searching for any clues. Under my gaze, Ryan's face flushed crimson. He suddenly covered my eyes with his palm, pretending to scold me. "Stop staring." I blinked against his hand, and he jerked back like he'd been burned. Then he just sat there, red-faced and glaring at me like some flustered virgin. I nearly laughed out loud. Definitely not him. My boyfriend had been far bolder in certain matters. The moment we stepped onto campus, I felt everyone's eyes on us. I nudged Ryan away. "You're too noticeable." He gave me an exasperated look. "You really don't get it, do you? They're staring at you." Surprised, I glanced around. Several people quickly averted their gazes when our eyes met. Seriously? I still had this awful haircut. Though compared to my old glasses and hoodie look, I guess the contrast was striking. They'd get used to it. I'd underestimated my classmates' enthusiasm. After morning study hall, the hallway outside our classroom became impassable. Rumors said they'd all come to see the spectacle. Me? Damn. He's even hotter than the forums described. That edgelord haircut can't hide those killer bone structure. His jawline sharper than my career plan. I thought he looked like a scrawny nerd before, but now, total ethereal pretty boy vibes. Retracting my average and arrogant comment. With that face, no wonder he turned Ryan down. Someone start a poll, John versus Ryan versus Evan threesome agenda when? Ryan eventually chased them off, visibly annoyed. I sat at my desk looking calm, though my mind had checked out minutes earlier. "System?" I asked internally. "Care to explain what role I'm actually playing here?" After a pause, it answered, "This is a harem reverse harem novel. You're the protagonist." "Oh," I said aloud. My last shred of hope flatlined. During last period's math class, the teacher held up a test paper. Out of yesterday's competition submissions, only one person scored full marks. I'd been zoning out until I noticed him looking my way. "John?" he announced with a smile. "Perfect score. The solutions for the last two problems were particularly elegant. Excellent work." The class erupted in odd whispers. I numbly collected my paper, noticing a faint stain from laundry detergent. Right, I'd scribbled the answers while washing Ryan's shirt that day. The teacher kept praising my remarkable improvement, urging others to learn from my example. I wanted to melt through the floor. "Finally," she said, "the state math competition is coming up. Would you like to form a team?" I was about to decline when inspiration struck. "Sure, Mrs. Thompson. I'll ask around," I replied. Word spread quickly about my search for teammates. Students from all grades flooded in with interest, overwhelmed by numbers. Emily, the girl sitting in front of me, volunteered as my agent. She even booked a clubroom for interviews with military precision. I declared grandly, "Bring me the brightest minds this school has to offer." Emily grinned, "Spread the word. John wants the smartest students as his teammates." The system groaned, "Abusing your authority." "I see." I didn't even flinch. After swallowing my pride for so long, can't I indulge myself? "You're specifically looking for male candidates. This has nothing to do with girls," it retorted. I wagged a finger mentally. "Let's not limit ourselves by gender. What if?" The system fell silent. My challenge problem proved difficult enough that candidates started recruiting help, turning the hallway into a buzzing think tank. Inside, I just rejected my 30-second applicant when Ryan sprawled in a chair, clicking his tongue. Pathetic. Emily raised an eyebrow. "Got a better solution?" "Not at all." Ryan shrugged. "Shameless. Different skill set." Emily nodded indulgently. "Fair point." Ryan suddenly tugged at his collar. "Why's it so stuffy here?" He undid two buttons, revealing a white tee underneath. Emily gasped. "Wait, isn't that the shirt John lent you last week?" Ryan straightened subtly, fanning himself. "Oh, this? Yeah. He hand-washed it for me." His eyes darted toward me. Too preoccupied with adjusting the problem's difficulty, maybe college-level calculus was too harsh for high schoolers? I missed his glance. "Have we seen all top 10 ranked students?" Emily scanned her list. "Everyone except the valedictorian." "Who's that?" "Evan. Absent today." I froze. Of course, the academic prodigy. Potentially the school's sharpest mind. What happened to him? I asked Ryan. Caught a fever last night? He muttered. Bedridden. Beside us, Emily silently vibrated. Her OTP were living together. After a beat, I said, next candidate. Maybe there were hidden geniuses beyond the honor roll? The door creaked open. Emily inhaled sharply. There stood Evan in the doorway. Fever-flushed cheeks contrasting with eyes gleaming like wet obsidian in the sunset glow. My pulse stuttered. Why are you here? His hoarse voice carried amusement. Heard you're holding auditions for partners. Couldn't miss it. I stared wordlessly at Evan. The air hung heavy for a moment. Emily's gaze darted between us twice before declaring, Candidate, your question. Evan turned to her. Emily enunciated the problem statement clearly before gesturing abruptly, 10 minutes. Paper and pens if needed. My eyes remained fixed on Evan as he lowered his gaze in brief contemplation. Within a minute, he stated the solution. Emily's eyes widened. Correct. Evan smiled. Then I'll be taking your chief examiner. When Emily looked to me, still processing, Evan strode over and yanked me up from my seat. His scorching palm and breath made me shudder. You're mine now. Ryan shot up from his chair. Let her go. You bastard. Ignoring him, Evan dragged me toward the exit, his injured leg causing a slight limp. My hesitation cost me the chance to resist. The hallway crowd parted instinctively. Beneath blood-streaked sunset skies by the sycamore tree, I wrenched free. Say what you need here. People are waiting. Evan turned, shadowed eyes burning into me. Am I not enough? Who else could you want? You're not who I'm looking for. His laugh carried velvet danger. Tell me who. Maybe I can help. This is pointless. I turned to leave. Evan grabbed my wrist. Stay. When I didn't face him, his voice dropped. John, I've loved you since before time. Millions of years. Maybe. I turned slowly, stunned. His Adam's apple bobbed. That first kiss, it felt rehearsed 1,000 times. Like muscle memory. Clever excuse for his earlier roughness. High-level player indeed. Are you delirious with fever? Evan tightened his grip. When you fell in the water yesterday, my heart stopped. Seeing your dark apartment window, that grief choked me. Like I'd lost you that way before. 2 tears splashed my hand, scalding through my veins. If this was acting, his instincts were Oscar-worthy. I pulled free. Pain flashed through Evan's eyes before he looked away. Sorry? Come closer. His head snapped up, wary hope freezing him in place. I stared at him for a few seconds before stepping forward. Rising on my tiptoes, I looped my arms around his neck and pressed my lips to his. Evan's eyes flew open in shock. The moment our lips touched, my soul trembled violently, my mind screaming as if reaching climax. When the one-sided kiss ended, my legs gave out and I stumbled back, staring at him in disbelief. You, Evan's intense gaze burned into me. Before I could finish, he closed the distance and crushed his lips against mine, his hand cradling the back of my head. His embrace felt desperate enough to fuse our bones together, his kiss threatening to drown me. As passion clouded my senses, the system's voice suddenly echoed overhead. Frowny face beep. Candidates 0426 and NPC Evan have passed the trial. Initiating transport protocol for both parties. Alarmed, I pushed Evan away. Staring at the golden light beginning to pierce through the sky, I demanded, what's happening? What trial? What else are you hiding from me? Having just found my boyfriend? I feared unexpected complications. The system replied, relax. I'm not screwing you over this time. I shielded a confused Evan behind me. Don't even think about taking him away. The system sounded bitter. Trust me. I can't even if I wanted to. The creator himself can't control him anymore. What do you mean? Remember the male lead from your first mission world? That was him. My breath caught. After you left that world, you went mad. His soul escaped containment and completely broke free from the creator's control. Every unhinged male lead you encountered later were fragments of his soul. Though each fragment lost its memories, loving you seems to be his core programming. I turned to see Evan gazing at me with infinite tenderness. Clutching his hand tightly, I challenged the system. So where are you sending us now? Back to your original world to resume your normal lives. You're being this generous? I asked suspiciously. The system paused, sounding vaguely hurt. I quickly added, not that I'm complaining. Do you have any idea how many worlds you two broke through? My performance metrics are the worst in the entire creator's domain. Every other system laughs at me. If not for upper management's orders, I'd have ejected you ages ago. As the golden light intensified, I squeezed Evan's hand. Don't worry. We're going somewhere safe. Where? Home. The light exploded around us. Though Evan's form blurred, our interlocked fingers remained tangible. I suddenly regretted not bidding farewell to Ryan and the others. Friendly reminder. Each world contains multiple soul fragments. They'll all reintegrate with the original. Goodbye. I'll miss you. Yeah, right. You're literally my career stain. Smiling faintly, I asked one last question. What was the trial about? What if we'd failed? The creator's test was whether you could recognize him without any prompts. Failure would have triggered this world's destruction protocol, with you in it. The creator's terrifying. Divine beings do enjoy toying with mortals, but your love outsmarted a god. This is truly goodbye. Be happy. The golden light swallowed everything. This fits perfectly with the background character archetype in campus novels. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself lying in my backyard. The familiar swing set stood not far away, its chains glinting in the dappled sunlight filtering through the maple trees. The lush grass tickled my bare arms as I turned to see the man beside me, that achingly familiar face I'd memorized through countless study sessions and stolen glances. He blinked awake as if sensing my gaze, those hazel eyes widening when they met mine. Honey? He rasped, voice thick with sleep. I just had this endless dream where... My laughter bubbled up genuine and warm as I bridged the distance between us. His arms locked around me with practiced ease, the faint cedar scent of his cologne wrapping around us like a promise. It's over? I murmured against his collarbone, feeling his heartbeat steady beneath my lips. His hand came up to cradle the back of my head as he whispered, We've got our whole future ahead now. The afternoon breeze carried away the last fragments of whatever nightmare we'd left behind.